Ready for a new type of hoops flick? I got just the thing to get you ready to lace them up. Let's gather around and meet the sports genre's newest underdog. The review for GOAT is fast breaking your way right now. What's going on, Hoopers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Porter Report. My name is BJ Porter, and I hope everybody is having an amazing day today. For all of my returning viewers, it is wonderful to see you all again, and for all my first timers out there, welcome, and we hope you enjoy everything that this video and channel has to offer. Before we begin, I want to start off by saying that I hope everybody has had a wonderful start to 2026. Today is particularly exciting because I'm here to deliver the first Porter Report movie review of the year. This segment allows me to express my thoughts and opinions about the movies that I see and enjoy, and those of you do as well. There are a multitude of basketball movies that are some of the most revered in the sports genre, but the one that we're going to be talking about today showcases a kid who truly has some game. And trust me, when I say kid, I literally mean he's a kid. Trust me, this is not the only animal reference you're going to see or hear in this video. More is coming, so be prepared. Today, I'm giving you guys the official review for GOAT, directed by Tyree Dillahay, and starring the voice cast of Caleb McLaughlin, Nick Kroll, Patton Oswalt, David Harbour, Wayne Knight, Jennifer Lewis, and Gabrielle Union. Sony Pictures Animation has truly turned itself into one of the juggernauts of the industry. While they have put out relatively decent fare in the past, the late 2010s is where things really started to take off. Following the critically acclaimed masterpiece that was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the studio went on a significantly game-changing streak of incredible animated bangers. This included films such as The Mitchells vs. the Machines, Into the Spider-Verse's equally acclaimed sequel Across the Spider-Verse, and of course the Academy Award-nominated global phenomenon K-pop Demon Hunters. While Sony Animation has tackled different genres such as the superhero genre, the supernatural, and science fiction, there is one that they have yet to tackle, that being the sports genre. The studio's latest animated feature is a basketball-inspired action comedy done in collaboration with Golden State Warriors superstar and NBA champion Stephen Curry. The film tells the story of an anthropomorphic GOAT who aims to make it to the pros in a league that is heavily inspired by basketball. Just picture the same sport but played by animals. The courts are designed based on specific climates and environments, and every single team in the league is basically the 1980s bad boy Detroit Pistons, or just Dylan Brooks and Draymond Green. Sporting the same incredible animation style as Sony's other animated projects does make it an appealing package on the surface. But the question going in is, can this movie deliver the same type of style and heartfelt substance as its in-studio predecessors? Well, I say it's high time we stop talking and start balling to discover that answer. Here's the Porter Report movie review for GOAT. In spite of what people may think or choose to believe, heroes can come in many different forms. In a world dominated by animals of larger stature, the biggest, fiercest, and strongest are showcased in the dangerously high-stakes game of Rollerball. Similar to what we know in our world as basketball, Rollerball is a no-holds-barred gladiator-type sport where only the strongest and most powerful are able to thrive. Since its inception, the sport has garnered a plethora of fans. One such fan is aspiring hooper Will Harris. Heavily inspired by what he sees on the court night in and night out, Will dreams to one day compete in Rollerball, becoming one of the first in his species to do so. Unfortunately, his dreams and aspirations are constantly shut down by those bigger than him, under the guise that he is small and puny, with the mantra of smalls can't ball being constantly thrown in his face. But as the old saying goes, it is never wise to underestimate your opponent. Despite Will's size and stature, he is anything but a liability on the court. With his high Rollerball IQ, great court awareness, coupled with lightning quick handles and ball control, Will is a surprisingly skilled and talented player who uses his supposed disadvantages to dismantle his opponents in spectacular fashion. His on-court escapades catch the attention of the GM of his favorite Rollerball team, the Thorns, as she offers him the chance to be one of the first in his species to compete in the league. With many doubting that he can make it in the big leagues, and with so many ready to stomp out his hopes of being the next big thing, Will must face the trials in front of him and prove to himself and those like him that even though you may not be the biggest or the strongest, you still have the power to change the game. From the studio that brought you Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and K-pop Demon Hunters, Sony Pictures Animation invites you to meet Hoop's newest underdog in GOAT. The wildly colorful action sports comedy done in collaboration with NBA superstar Stephen Curry looks to bring plenty of laughs and heart to the 2026 animation lineup. After lacing them up and hitting the hardwood with this big-hearted kid baller, GOAT is a surprisingly strong animated romp with so much going for it from first frame to last. At first glance, it is easy to dismiss GOAT as a throwaway film given that on the surface it doesn't have the same aura or draw. But like our leading GOAT, it turns out that the movie has some serious game. GOAT manages to be a visually stunning showcase while still delivering an effective story despite being by the numbers. The movie has a lot working in its favor, including the talented voice cast who, to my delight, deliver big time in every scene. Caleb McLaughlin really carries the movie as Will Harris, our leading man, or for the purpose of this review, our leading mammal. Harris is an easy character to root for as he fits the underdog stereotype to a T. That said, McLaughlin gives Will such heart and soul that you can't help but want to see him win, and when he does, you definitely will find yourself pumping your fist. It's hard to believe that this is his first voice acting role because he's a natural in the booth who truly excels in bringing this character to life. He did get some great help from a veteran of the game in the form of Gabrielle Union as Jet Fillmore. Union has done her share of voice acting over the years, and it truly showed in this film. Jet definitely comes off as a grizzled and grumpy veteran who isn't too eager to give the reins to the new generation. But like all stories with good writing and character development, the layers reveal more than what is shown up front. Like all veterans of the game, Jet is driven by pride and fear, rooted in proving that she still has what it takes to compete at a high level, including competing for a championship after so many pitfalls and missteps. It isn't until she puts her ego aside that she becomes a better version of herself and a better player and teammate as a result. The other members of the voice ensemble were just as fun, with David Harbour, Nick Kroll, and Nicola Coughlan, rounding out the Thorns members Olivia, Archie, and Moto, with Kroll's motto being chaos incarnate every time he was on screen. I also want to give a special shout out to Stephen Curry, the film's producer, for his work as Lenny, and his wife Aisha Curry as diner owner Carol, where they both did great in their respective voice roles. Jennifer Lewis, Wayne Knight, Sherry Cola, Patton Oswalt, Jennifer Hudson, and Aaron Pierre all deliver in their roles, for it sounded like they all took the story seriously despite how silly and goofy things got at times. That leads me to another element of why I think the movie works so well. As I said earlier, the movie is basic and by the numbers from a story standpoint. But to be honest, this approach allows for the visual storytelling, no pun intended, to run wild. I was absolutely impressed with the amount of care, detail, and imagination that went into the world building, character design, and overall visual language of the film. Couple that with the frenetically gorgeous blending of animation styles that have become a Sony animation staple, and you've got a movie that is downright fun to watch from the opening tip. Like its in-studio counterparts, the animation truly comes alive when it's in motion. The action is breakneck and fast-paced, creating edge-of-your-seat tension despite you being able to see the sports movie cliches from a mile away. Despite all of that, I never found myself bored looking at the screen because there was always something to see that was worth the look. Also, as a basketball fan, I admittedly got giddy seeing and hearing references or nods to hoop culture. To my knowledge, I'm not sure there has ever been an animated film that has been focused on basketball quite like this. If that is indeed the case, Sony Animation should be applauded for creating an original animated piece of art despite it being aimed at a niche audience. For anyone who loves the game of basketball or knows any aspiring young hoopers that love the game themselves, this is a unique treat that is equal parts fun and inspirational in a multitude of ways. All in all, I was pleasantly surprised with how much enjoyment I got out of watching GOAT. Don't get me wrong, I was confident that it was going to be a fun movie, but I didn't think I would be walking away with a bigger smile than I anticipated. When a movie delivers like that, it's definitely a huge win on the part of the team bringing it to life. For a film that is joining an already loaded roster of established players, this by-the-book animated hoop flick proved that it has the skills to absolutely deliver in crunch time. There are an array of animation studios that put out incredible work year after year. Slowly but surely, Sony Pictures Animation is starting to become one of the best in the industry before our very eyes. Their unique style and brand of storytelling has made anything that they have put out worthy of attention and recognition. And I am absolutely happy to say that GOAT is yet another notch in their belt. Sure, on the surface when compared to some of the other things they have put out, it is easy to dismiss this as potentially a lower tier addition to the portfolio. But trust me when I say that like its big-hearted protagonist, there is more to this movie than meets the eye. While the story is simple and at times by the numbers, I was super impressed with the amount of imagination that was on display within the visual storytelling. The world on screen was vibrant and unique, the characters were fun and relatable, and the movie had an incredible amount of heart all throughout its duration. This is supposed to be a silly basketball movie with talking animals. Why am I getting emotional? Also, little thing to note due to it being Black History Month, The film was directed by Black animation director Tyree Dillahay, and the film's composer is Chris Bowers, the same composer from one of my favorite animated films of this decade, The Wild Robot. As somebody who has loved the game of basketball since I was a kid, there were a lot of things in this movie that really spoke to my inner child who grew up with the game. I can definitely see this movie flying under a lot of people's radar and being a sleeper amongst the other animated films coming out this year. But I am seriously telling you to take the time to go see it because this movie is absolutely a ton of fun, and I truly cannot recommend it enough for the whole family and for the little hooper in your life. But now that you've heard from me, I now want to hear from all of you guys. Sound off in the comments below your thoughts about the movie GOAT, but be mindful of anything that could potentially be seen as a spoiler. I truly hope that more people go see and support this film because it is absolutely worth sitting courtside for. Plus, we got about 15 months to go before Beyond the Spider-Verse gets here, so this will be a nice holdover until then. And yes, I do indeed have a mental countdown in my head of when that movie comes out, and I know you do too. Don't you sit there and judge me. As always, keep it locked to the channel for more reviews and videos throughout the remainder of 2026 and beyond. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend to stop on by. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day, and until the next review, I'm BJ Porter, and this has been the Porter Report.